What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new Brawl Stars video. Today we're going to be talking about the latest balance changes that have just arrived to the game. They are very, very exciting, so let's just get right into it. Alright guys, so first and foremost we've got Pam. Now Pam got a very minor buff, but at the same time it sounds like it's not very much, and it's probably going to be a little more impactful than people are going to think. Now that's only a 20 damage increase from 220 damage to 240 damage on her main attack per shot. Now, if you think about it, I mean, she shoots a lot of shots for every single attack, so that compounds over time and will definitely be impactful and close out kills occasionally that it wouldn't have beforehand. But with that said, will this be something that really makes it so she's relevant where Poco used to be the only relevant healer? I'm not entirely sure. We're gonna have to see how it pans out. Next up, guys, we've got Jessie. Now, Jessie got a pretty significant buff that I'm actually very excited about. She got an increased attack damage, just her normal main attack damage, from 780 per shot to 820. This is really great because it already is something that's very much a sore subject for her. You know, having a very small amount of damage on her normal attack means that it's going to take a while for her to get her super, and once she does, she's going to be evened out pretty significantly, but beforehand, it's going to be very difficult to actually deal with other brawlers because your damage output is not going to be very much, and especially in solo showdown or just situations where you're 1v1ing an opposing brawler, it's going to be very difficult. So this is a much appreciated buff. Alright guys, we have got a new OP tank on the block. That is going to be Frank with a ridiculous buff. He was already pretty good in specific matchups and specific maps, but in this case, he got a very significant buff. That's going to be 2/3 of a tile buff on his main attack range, which means that it's going to be a little bit more forgiving when you sort of time your attacks poorly, or maybe even if, you know, someone would try to dash out of range, maybe they'll get hit a little bit more often now. And then also, not even just his main attack range, his super range also got increased by 2/3 of a tile, taking it from 6 2/3 tiles to 7 1/3 tiles. Absolutely incredible changes. I would not be surprised to see Frank in pretty much every game mode now. He's definitely going to be very difficult to beat, especially when he has that star power. Moving on, guys, we've got Penny with a nice little buff to her main attack damage, going from 800 to 840, being a 40 damage buff overall. Really not that ridiculously overpowered already. I definitely think that she has her uses, she has her places, but I do think that this buff is definitely going to benefit her greatly in the 1v1 scenarios, whether that again be in, you know, a normal 1v1 matchup in Showdown, or if it's in a 3v3 game mode where maybe she's just sort of off to the side of the map, or, you know, the last remaining brawler on her team. I definitely see this benefiting her very significantly. I know you guys know situations where, you know, you're kind of going back and forth in a firefight. Maybe you get taken out, the opposing brawler has about 100 HP left. This definitely means you're going to close out those kills more often. But guys, that is not all for Penny. She also got a very significant buff that people are probably going to be glossing over a little bit. We've got the coin burst or buckshot or whatever you want to call it now has piercing, which essentially means just like Ricochet's super or even Colt's super or many other attacks in the game, really, you know, Terra's main attack, and I could go on. Basically, guys, that has piercing. Those all have piercing, which means that the shot is going to not stop on the first brawler that it hits. It will continue as far as its range allows it to go, so it can hit multiple brawlers. As you guys well know, the buckshot on Penny is already pretty ridiculously powerful, so I'm definitely thinking that adding piercing to it is going to be making her a little bit overpowered. I'd be excited to see how this sort of goes along in the meta, because right now I don't think that she's used in very many maps to very much success, but at the same time, I'm kind of nervous about this one, not gonna lie, because piercing is a very, very dangerous attribute to just add willy-nilly to brawlers, so I hope that the stats were really indicative of her needing a serious buff, because this is a serious buff. Moving on, guys, we've only got a few more brawlers to talk about today. We've got Dynamike with increased super explosion delay from 1.1 seconds to 1.3 seconds. Now, I haven't actually had the chance to test this as of the recording of this video, so I don't know for sure if this is going to be a very impactful change or not, but if this actually means that you can't auto super and expect to really knock someone out because they're not not going to just be able to walk out of range of it. If this is the 0.2 seconds needed to get out of range of an auto super, then Dynamike's usefulness goes down very, very significantly. At the same time, if this just gives you a little bit more reaction time, but the auto super still connects almost every time, I definitely see this being a very beneficial change, making it so he's a little bit more balanced. Finally, guys, last but not least, I'd imagine you all know exactly what I'm going to be talking about. Now, we've got the final brawler nerf of the day. It's going to be Poco. His main attack damage has been decreased from 700 to 660, knocking it down a total of 40 damage per shot. Really not that huge of an issue with him. He definitely needed a nerf of some kind. Was this the actual nerf he needed? Well, it definitely means that in 1v1 scenarios, he's going to be a little bit less viable, but only 120 damage per full clip of ammo. I really don't know if this is going to be the nerf he needs. A lot of people seem to think that the range is exactly what needs to be nerfed with Poco right now. I don't know if I agree with that. I definitely think his range needs to be about mid-tier, not necessarily high tier where he can really easily reach those long-range brawlers, but definitely not low tier, you know, like a shotgunner. I think that he really needs to have some serious range. But you guys let me know what you think. His piercing damage and everything like that, meaning that he can deal multiple shots of damage per attack at the full possible damage output from each attack. It means that overall the balancing with Poco is going to be a little bit different than a lot of other brawlers, because just like Terra, it's going to be very, very impactful, basically because he has piercing on his main attack. But yeah, guys, that's going to be about it for this one. Thank you so very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's format. I definitely been kind of switching up balance changes every single time they happen and making it as good as I possibly can, while also making it come out the exact day that the balance changes are released. But with that said, guys, let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think of these balance changes? Do you think the nerfs and buffs were warranted? Do you think they're not good enough? Do you think that maybe there were some overcorrections here? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And did you think they missed anything? Did any brawlers not get buffed or nerfed that you think should have been buffed or nerfed? Just let me know down in the comments. If you see someone you agree with, drop them a thumbs up, and that'll give me a good indication as to what I need to discuss with Supercell and with you guys in future videos. But that's going to be about it for this one. Have a fantastic day. I hope to see you back here for the next one very, very soon. Until then, peace.